back to Mindful Martha. I hope that you are having a terrific week so far. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. This week we're going to talk about grief. It's a big word that has so much meaning behind it that many people usually don't like to talk about because it's associated with negativity. It's associated with perhaps death or just something that's dismal. But sometimes we forget that grief is not just perhaps the passing of an individual that we love or we care deeply for, but we also have grief that we hold within our own selves, that we suffer with, that we avoid and don't confront. Grief is a very powerful thing that lives in most of us, and many of us don't even realize it. Grief is also associated with trauma, perhaps something that happened when you were younger, or something that happened in your teenage years or young adulthood, or even recently. And these are one of the things that are very difficult to confront and challenge as humans. But yet when we do, it is so healing, and it allows us to have the opportunity to move forward by healing, by creating a new experience that allows you to feel better, stronger, and empowered. So I chose to discuss grief today because last week we talked about critics. And we talked a little bit about us being our worst critics sometimes, right? And many times we are our worst critic because of how others have made us feel. And perhaps our self-esteem is not as high as we hope for it to be or should be. So as I was reflecting about that topic, it made me think about how grief also impedes us from moving forward, and how we really don't think that much about it because we usually only think about it when someone passes on. So I want you to think about, what are those things in your life that perhaps make you sad or angry or disgruntled? I want you to take the time, few minutes each day, to start dissecting all those little things. I'm not going to say it's super easy, but as I've told you in the past, and I'm going to tell you again, you are going to reap the benefits of how wonderful it's going to be for you in healing once you are able to get to the bottom of the things that are truly hurting or bothering you. And you know, sometimes we deal with grief also because of a loss that we thought we forgot about, like a pet. Something as simple as a pet when you were a child can still be affecting you to today. Or maybe a person that is psychologically killed off in your mind. Someone that doesn't live in your mind anymore because you chose to just remove them from your thoughts and your feelings, although that person is still physically alive today. So those are the types of things that I want you to think about, and give yourself the opportunity to process those things that affected you. Perhaps you were abused emotionally or physically. Perhaps you were bullied. Perhaps people haven't accepted you for who you are because of your skin color, your hair color, your eyes, or because who you choose to be your partner. At the end of the day, we know that that is no one's business. We are who we are, and we should be accepted for who we are respectfully. But we live in a world where, unfortunately, there are critics who give us negative feedback, right? Just like we discussed last week. And so you're the one that needs to empower yourself to put that in the past, move forward, and start thinking more positive about where you want to be in your life. As I said before, we all have choices. We need to give ourselves those opportunities to make those choices, no matter what others think or feel about us. You need to remember how important you are, how valuable you are in this world. You know, sometimes things get so hard. Or as they say, it rain, it rains when it pours, it rains, right? When it pours, when it rains, it pours, right? That one? Okay. A lot of idioms that we have in the United States, they don't exist in Latin countries, like where my family is from. My first language is Spanish, for many of you who don't know that about me. My parents are from Cuba, so I'm first generation American. So growing up, I didn't know what idioms were. I had to learn them as an adult. And needless to say, I continue to learn more and more each day. Even though I am a classroom teacher, you guys know that too. I always say I'm not just a teacher, I'm also a student because I'm constantly learning. I like to think of us as lifelong learners if we're willing to open our minds to it. So, anyway, let's get back to the topic, right? In regards to grief, I just want you guys to please give yourselves the opportunity to heal. I truly believe that once we start allow ourselves to heal, we just become better individuals. We see our best selves shine through. And when we are at our best, then that means the people around us will be at their best because it's contagious. Being negative, bringing yourself down, criticizing who you are constantly, and feeling bad about every little thing in your life is not going to give you those opportunities that you deserve. There's an abundance of everything out there. You can make your dreams come true, whether it's something as to feeling good about yourself or chasing that career that you want. The bottom line is, there are many things that affect us in life, and immediately we associate grief with the loss of someone. But are you grieving about the loss of who you were once? Think about that for a moment. Perhaps you're grieving over yourself when your thinking is about someone else. Maybe you were a different person years ago, and now you've become something else. Maybe you're not happy with who you are today. Give yourself the opportunity to have that change, to have that metamorphosis, to become something that you've been desiring and want. And it's okay to grieve. It's okay to feel angry and sad. You need to acknowledge those feelings. But if you don't confront those things now, how are you going to move forward? How are you going to be happy with yourself? Especially if there are people around you who rely on you for many things. And maybe that can be part of it too. Not enough self-care for yourself. Remember to take some time for yourself each day, even if that means you take a few minutes before you walk in through that door, getting home from work or any other activity. Remember your self-value and what is important in your life. I thank you for taking the time for tuning in today. I truly hope that this was helpful and maybe it gave you something to reflect about. And don't forget to share this with someone if you think maybe it can help them and if it will be powerful for them. I've said this to you before and I'll say it again. The biggest gift that sometimes you can give a person are intangible. It doesn't have to be something physical. It can be sending your friend a video that reminds them of how amazing they are. Thank you again to all of you. I look forward to next week. And I'm going to leave it as the way I've been doing it these past couple of weeks. I haven't been giving you a specific topic because I have to feel it, if that makes sense. I have to feel what I think your calling is for the week. And this is what your calling was for the week. This is what I felt I needed to share with you today. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't yet. And for all of those who have, thank you for taking the time to do that. And please don't forget to spread the seeds of kindness. Our world needs so much love and peace and joy. Try to share that with someone today or tomorrow or sometime this week. Try to compliment at least one person each day. It doesn't cost a thing, but it may mean the world to someone who's down. You just never know. Thank you again, guys. I appreciate you. Gracias. Adios.